to, hold on, let me go back. Okay. So today is November 21st, and I am opening up the meeting at 2:30 p.m. for the Personnel Committee of the Housing Authority of the County of Monterey. Tori, can you lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Present.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Present.
we are all accounted for.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to comments from the public, number 3. Is there anybody there, Gabriela, on the line, or
There is not.
there's not? Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll leave that open just in case if somebody chimes in or somebody comes on, joins us. So we'll go to the approval of the minutes of the Personnel Committee that was held on October 17th. Do we have any questions to the minutes? Anybody?
No.
Okay, if we could, if I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 17th, 2022.
Okay, and I will second that motion to approve the minutes of the Personnel Committee held on October 17th, 2022. Roll call, please, Tori?
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, thank you. So now we're gonna go to number 5, unfinished business, and it's regarding the project-based voucher discussion.
Yeah, so this memo requires no action. It's just a conversation for the board to have.
Okay,
And the status of, there's a cap. So we can only do 20% of our authorized units, and then an additional 10% if they are exclusively available for certain types of households. And that's the maximum number of project-based vouchers that we could do. And right now we have 283 units that could be project-based for general units. And we have another 248 units that could be project-based under the 10% cap allowance. So between those two, we could do up to 500 additional project-based voucher units. And then once we've reached that cap, we would never be able to project-base again unless the law gets changed.
okay. And is that by HUD?
Yes, well, it's by Congress.
Okay,
Congress is the one that created the law. And the problem that I face is that we are frequently approached by developers and owners of properties looking for us to provide them with project-based vouchers. And the normal first step in the process would be issuing an RFP. And when you issue an RFP, you can say, hey, we only want this type of project, or we're going to give extra points for elderly projects or disabled projects or permanent supportive housing or housing for the homeless. So we need guidance. Marie and I need guidance from the board in terms of what does the board want to see in terms of the RFPs that we issue. So the other main thing to know is these project-based vouchers are quite valuable. They are really the only way to get new affordable housing built these days. And so you can see on the next page a list of all of the properties where we have project-based vouchers. And a lot of these should look familiar because they're HDC projects where vouchers were used to be able to do Casanova, Haciendas 1, 2, 3, Haciendas Senior,
Parks.
Monterey Affordable, Parkside, Rippling River. And without project-based vouchers, those deals wouldn't be possible. And so the question for the board really is, what sort of direction should we try to save as many of these vouchers as possible and use them for ourselves? Currently, we are talking about using them at Pueblo del Mar, or possibly using them. We have some property that we are looking to develop, and we could use them there. We also are in talks with the city about a parcel that the city would like us to develop, and we would need to use them there. And then at the same time, we are getting requests. Maria, who's the one that most recently is requesting is it Chinatown?
No, Chinatown, we still have the ones for Home Key, but those still have not been approved. But I've been approached by Moongate, also from other developers that are reaching out because they're looking at doing some new construction in the South County. And I also have another developers doing a development in the peninsula.
And we have a city that has a nursing home or assisted living that would like a couple. And I just didn't feel that it was appropriate to make these sorts of decisions without a conversation from the board about the direction of the project-based vouchers.
So Tori, my suggestion, because this is a very interesting thing, and I was looking at all the information and it's a lot. So I think that we should put it on the board agenda for Monday.
Yes.
I don't know where you want to put it. You want to put it as unfinished business or?
Yeah, it was on the agenda last month, so
Right.
we would just have it as unfinished business.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And then when we come to that item for the board meeting, you can go ahead and address your concerns and then answer any questions that they may have. I think it's very important, what you're addressing, what your concern is. I believe it's very important since you are more familiar with this than I would be.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's go ahead and add that to the agenda for Monday.
And I don't think it requires a motion because it had already been on the agenda.
Correct. Okay. So unless Commissioner Goodwin, do you have any thing to add to that, or before we move on to number 6?
No, that's a good idea.
Okay.
To move it, to table it until Monday. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and go to number 6, new business. Resolution 3077, adding a new local preference to the administrative plan.
So when we changed the admin plan at the October board meeting, there was some discussion about creating a separate set-aside preference for families with children based on the mobility research. And so I've worked on this resolution and also shared it with Hans since he was the one who was most interested in seeing this preference.
Okay.
And what we would do is create a new preference for families with at least one child aged 13 or below and living in a census tract with 30% or greater poverty at the time of the preference.
All right.
And that preference is the same mandatory preference that mobility demonstration participants have to include. So that's the mobility demonstration. And then we would do it the same way as the homeless set aside. 1 out of every 10 vouchers issued would be issued to this preference category. In Monterey County, there are 9 census tracts that are higher than 30%. And I think it would be pretty easy for us to verify this preference.
Mhm.
Do they have a child who's under age 13? And do they live in one of these census tracts?
Correct.
And if they do, then they would get the preference. Most of the poverty census tracts are in the Salinas area. And so I think it would be helpful. The research really shows that there are some great positive outcomes for families who move from high poverty areas to low poverty areas. And we're not in the demonstration, so we can't require it, but we can point it out and advise people of
Mhm.
the benefits to moving to a high opportunity area during the briefing. So
Okay,
that's what that preference is.
okay. Commissioner Goodwin, do you have any questions or concerns to address?
No, I think that's a really good idea though, because it makes sense.
Okay,
So
okay, so do I have a motion for resolution 3077 to place on the agenda as new business?
I'll make a motion, to, place, resolution 3077, on the next agenda for the 28th meeting.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Roll call, please, Tori?
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes,
motion carries.
Okay, now we're gonna go to resolution 3078. It is the utility allowance from January 2023 through December 2024.
So we are required to conduct a utility analysis whenever there's more than a 10% change to
Correct.
the utility rates. And so we use UA Pro to conduct an annual review to see whether or not we need to change those. And they made recommendations that we would update the utility allowances. Maria, a question, is it through January 2023, or are you saying that it's a 2-year utility allowance?
It's a 2-year, it's a
Okay.
2-year utility allowance.
Okay. And you can see in the packet what the new utility allowances are. I'm assuming they went up because
They
that's
did.
usually the only direction they go.
Yeah.
And so that's actually helpful for the tenants with a higher utility allowance. That means that the rent portion that they pay is lower. And it's because their utility bills went up. So are there questions?
No? Do you have any questions, Commissioner Goodwin?
no,
Okay. So do I have a motion for resolution 3078?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. And I will second that motion and for it to be placed on new business on the board agenda scheduled for Monday, November 28th. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes,
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll go to item number 7, information, letter A, it's the HR report.
Is James
He's not on
Right.
the call today.
okay? So I think you can look at the HR report. There's no real changes to report other than Deanna Gonzalez was hired as a property management specialist 1. And we are still working on some open positions. Aside from the caretakers, there are 3 director level positions, which Zulika will address when she gets on board.
Okay. Sounds good. I went through that report and just kind of everything seemed more or less, the usual items that I have seen before. Anything, any questions or concerns, Commissioner Goodwin?
No.
Okay. So with that, we'll go ahead and move to 7B housing programs.
Pretty much, the department right now is working on scheduling more families to try to get into the end of this year. We're still scheduling the EHV families. We requested more EHV referrals from the coalition. Pretty much, we're also, we have the waiting list open for Villa Del Monte and Salinas Gateway till the end of November the 30th. We continue to receive a lot of applications for those two properties. But everything is on my report unless the commissioners have any questions.
And so the waiting list for one Parkside, it's still open until further notice?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the age limit again is 62 years old?
Yes, correct.
Okay, alrighty. Commissioner Goodwin, do you have any questions for Maria?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're down to number 8, commissioner comments. Commissioner Goodwin, go ahead.
Thank you to the staff and to the commissioners and to Tori for a speedy and productive meeting. And I hope everybody has a very healthy and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Commissioner Goodwin. I just want to say thank you to Tori, Gabriela, Maria, and the rest of the staff, James, everybody that helped out in getting this meeting and all the information that we need. And we'll look forward to our meeting on Monday. And I also want to tell all of you, all the staff at Housing Authority, to have a nice, blessed Thanksgiving, to be safe. And if you go shopping, just be careful to lock your cars, okay? So with that, I am adjourning the meeting at 2:48 p.m.